Aloha, Soul Fam. Welcome to our end of days, and that's DAZE. As always, raw and unedited. I know it's been a few days. I'll just kind of get right into it for this particular session. I apologize for the background. It is what it is, you guys. Been working really hard. I've been waking up super early. Labor intense job. Um, anyway, like I said, I just want to get into it. I had a dream last night, and it really almost wasn't a dream, I guess is the best way to put it. It was like another realm, you know. Um, Looking back, it was like I had died and I was just processing my life and everything. It's really difficult for me to kind of quantify what it was and how it was going on because I could try to give little snips and pieces of it, but it was like slowly introducing me to the other side is the best way to say it. And I won't get into some of the more personal stuff that it showed me because it was very gentle at first, kind of just showing me things. And to kind of supplement this, the YouTuber Marina Karlova. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She reached out to me and she commented on one of my channels and one of my comments and suggested to hear my thoughts on the Gospel of Thomas, which is it's scripture from the Nag Hammadi library. And it's not part of the Orthodox Bible because it's the teachings are very interesting, I guess is the best way to say it. You can get people who are going to say, "Oh, it's a bunch of," I can't think of the word, but like heretical, I guess is the best way to put it. And it's very, very interesting that this is my premise with a lot of Christianity in general, where it's just like so much is based upon interpretation, and then when certain texts are disregarded, why? And then what does it mean? How was it interpreted? What does this give us? Does this give us a bigger view, or does it muddy the waters? And are they supposed to be muddy? There's a lot of questions with it. But one of and I listened to all. So it's basically sayings from Jesus is what the Gospel of Thomas is, and there's about 100 and don't quote me per se, but it's like 114, I believe. And a lot of it was stuff that I resonate with, that I understand. Some of the stuff I believe I understand, but it has to do with context. And so I want to do another video to give my own, interpretations, maybe a few videos on that. That could be something that I do as well, just look at some of the Nag Hammadi writings and just interpret them. But anything that I interpret is just going to be a partial perspective. And this is also validated through some of the sayings from Jesus, too, in the Gospel of Thomas. And it's even in the Orthodox Bible, guys, where it's those with the ears to hear, those who are ready and willing and able to interpret it in the way where it's going to be heard and understood. And so I can give you words. I can try to share my understanding of what I know it as, but that's all I can do, you guys. That's all I can do. There's some individuals out there who would say I'm not supposed to even share it, but it's just like, whatever, you guys. I don't think I can create any more danger than people are already in at the moment. But that's anyway. Let's keep going. One of the sayings that was there was like, why do you, and I'm paraphrasing here, but why do you clean the outside of your cup when the inside and the outside are from the same creator? And there's a huge paraphrase there. But it's phrased in a way, and the way that I interpret this is that the inside in our internal world is intricately linked to our external world and our external experience. Like, to an extent that I would say it's like the marriage, that I talk about, between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the handshake, the chiral handshake, if you will, um, the one absolute, when the two were made one. And this is also, in the Gospel of Thomas, and so I thought that was awesome. Some kind of validation, on my part, um, that I'm receiving the signs, that I'm getting it, and in a lot of ways very validating, because I came to this conclusion on my own, maybe hearing from other sources and other people as well, but and so going back to my dream, I'm just kind of skipping ahead, I guess, because a lot happened in my dream, but I was basically going through my house, and my house, in the metaphorical sense, is my divine estate, I guess is the best way to say it. And so I was being able to see different rooms and go into them, and then, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call it the library. And so I entered the library, and there really wasn't much to it. There were some books, and there was a very heavy air about this particular room. And so I felt like I saw everything that was in there, and I tried to leave, and I was unable to leave the room. And, for lack of a better word, like a guide arrived and started talking to me, so that I could help process and see what was really going on in the library. And there were 3 pictures there, and they were all babies. They were like children, I guess is the best way to put it. And looking back, it was my own offspring. You guys, I'm a father, and just kind of, without going into too many personal details and bringing up all this stuff, just like I'm somewhat, I'm estranged from my children. I don't get to live with them. I don't get to have them in my life on a daily basis, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. And it's been a huge heartache for me. It's been a very, very huge heartache for me. Um, and then one of them in particular is very close to my heart, and it's so interesting because in the dream I wasn't able to see. I was able to see my 2 daughters, but I wasn't able to see the 3rd child. And the way that I processed it is that it was someone else's kid, and it revealed to me the guilt that I felt with the passing of my son. And I'm not going to go into details about exactly what happened, but it and it was really around all my kids, but especially with this, it was like just to put it, my son passed away, and it was a like a SIDS event, and it was very devastating, I guess is the best way to put it. And then, and I'm going to tie everything together here, don't worry. I was shown that the inside, like, I've done a lot of work, you guys, shadow, like, for using Jungian terminology, face the shadow, done a lot of internal stuff, forgiven a lot, been a big part of healing in my life, where it's like I want my internal garments to be clean, however you want to say it. Be authentic as I possibly can, not not project my own crap onto other people, claim what's mine. There's a lot of ways to go about it, and so just like an honest heart, I guess is the best way to put it. So what I was shown was that like the inside of my cup was needed to be clean still. And in some ways I was shown that it was good. What like the whole before in the dream, it was just like I was getting ready to die, you guys, and it was not a bad thing, it was a beautiful thing. It was kind of like a life review in a lot of different ways, and I felt good. And I'd felt that before too, where it's just like I felt really freaking good about everything, and just like I'd lived a good life. But things leading up to the library event slowly got heavier and heavier until I got to the library, and then that's when things got the heaviest. And the revealing was is that I had like guilt, I guess. Not and guilt isn't even the right word. Maybe even as low as like shame, like a self hatred almost. Um, and that's not even the right words either. But it's just like what what Jesus was teaching us and showing us in every single way is that we are creators, you guys, and the inside and the outside are the same. And so much of what we see in the outside world is a result of what's in our inside world. And I would almost say unilaterally, that's the purpose, is to see this world that we're a part of is us. Like there is no separation between the internal and the external. Um, and that's a very vulnerable place to be, you guys. That's a very vulnerable place to be. And so we can look out at the world, see a lot of the stuff that's quote unquote wrong with it, but it is intimately tied to the internal world and our internal process and what we have going on inside of us. And so I kind of feel like that this Earth plane that we're in, it's not a fun place, you guys. It's not meant to be fun. We can have fun here, and there can be good things for sure, but it's not the end all get all, I guess is the best way to put it. This is like trials and tribulations world, I guess is the best way to put it. And what makes our yoke lighter is recognizing this and not putting our stock in here. And so I've done a good job of doing that, which is, I think, what I was being shown too, but also that I have work to do. Um, and that in order for me to be a clear conduit, you know, um, for this message, for what's going forward, I also need to reconcile this. I need to have some kind of healing, some forgiveness, because that's what, like, at the end of the dream, it's just like I couldn't, like, the best way, like, this is why I was like I could not wake up. I was conscious that this was like a dream realm in all of this. All right, while this dream, whatever you want, whatever you guys want to call it. But I was conscious that this was going on and that this was not the Earth plane, and I was there. It's always exciting when I have those kind of quote unquote dreams, is because when I'm conscious and I realize, because a lot of the times in the past, what would happen is when I become conscious and I'm dreaming, I start to wake up. Where it's just like, oh crap, I'm recognizing that I'm dreaming, and so now I have to wake up. Um, and I don't want to. I want to stay there, and that's usually how it's always been. Is I want to stay there because it's just like that's where my home is, you guys. My home's on the other side. Is the best way to put it. I think all of our home is on the other side, and this is why I'm such an advocate for doing the work. Is because we want to go home. You know, this is being spiritually dead. Just being here, and at the same time, it's there's a purpose in us being here. I don't think we have to be here longer than we have to, but that's one of the commitments I think I also have too. So I do want to help people here. I do want to, you know, be an example of what it means to be here in a good way. because I see so much lack of integrity. I see so much projection. I see so much of those things, and it doesn't have to be that way. And maybe that's, I put that out there. Maybe it has to be this way. Maybe this path that I'm on, as an individual, is something that we all individually need to walk down. Maybe there is no saving this realm. Maybe this is just like I said, the trials and tribulations world. Because a lot of me has felt like it doesn't have to be, guys. It doesn't freaking have to be that. This is just one world of many, and that we can, for lack of a better word, raise the vibration of this place, even if it's still a very dense reality. Like we got the bodies, and everything, and it takes time for things to manifest and everything. That the density is not a bad thing per se. Um, and I've gone back and forth with that, where we can raise the vibration here and things can be better and we can still exist here. Um, and then the other side of that coin, which is just like, no, this is we're spiritually dead, man. And this is why we're here. We're here to process stuff and get the work done so that we can go home, so we can go back to what's real. I mean, what I would consider real is the best way to put it. Um, that's what this dream felt like. I mean, it's very surreal in a lot of different ways. I'm not even going to get into some of the details because it was personal stuff, guys. It was personal stuff that even if I talked about it, you'd be like, well, yeah, it's weird. But the way that it was being communicated to me was just really speaking to me, and it was really showing me things. Um, and so when then that's what was so weird. So going back to that portion when I was in the library, it was even I couldn't even process that it was my own son. I couldn't even process it. I was processing that it was someone else's that I was babysitting essentially, and then even with that, I felt that guilt. I felt that shame. I felt that self condemnation. That was the word I was looking for. And I caught it, and I was backing up. I'm just like, no, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing a good job, and things are okay. And that's when I started to come back to this world, to the world, to the Earth plane, and it got me really seeing what is really going on here, and that's just like the truth, you guys. Like, I won't go into details, but there's a friend that I have through the church who is going through hard times. Like, and me and him have connected on a deep level because we both dealt with, I would say, severe depression and wanting to exit this world. And in exiting this world from that context, it's like it's wanting to go home, but for me, and the understanding that I've been shown, and like this dream verifies it as well for me, is we can't go home. All right, it's not that we can't ever go home. It's just like we can't go home right now, and it's because, for lack of a better word, our garments aren't clean. It's because we have stuff. We still got to process it, you guys. We still got to heal it. We got to forgive it. We got to be worthy of that other realm. Is one way to say it. The other way to say it is we can go to that realm anytime, but it's going to be nuts, guys. It's going to be nuts because what that other realm is just like, imagine instant manifestation. All right? They say, as a man thinketh, so a man becomes, right? What if there was no delay? What if they didn't have to impress things upon the subconscious? What if just experiencing and believing and thinking and feeling something ended up creating that? Then you can create hell for yourself. All right? And so in this way, this world is a savior, you guys. We're being saved by being here so that we can process this stuff, so we can see our subconscious stuff, so we can see what we're creating, essentially. And on that level, that's what lights the fire in me, you guys, is that's like, and I see the inner and the outer, where, just like you guys are me, and I am you, And I know that a lot of spiritual circles have dipped into this and say those things, and it sounds like gobbledygook for somebody who's outside of those things. You know, it's just like, you're not me, I'm not you. Like, yes, yes we are, yes we are, you guys. I mean, seriously, I can't convey it enough, but it's in a way that still makes sense. Like, yes, I'm an individual here, you're an individual there, but beneath that individuality, we are of the same. We are of the same consciousness. All right, we are of the same pool of consciousness, I guess is the best way. There's just metaphors, there's stories that we can do to communicate this, to interpret this. And I've also seen, like, part of my journey here, it's just like there's parts of myself, then, if we're looking at this, that don't want to heal, that aren't ready, that aren't going to go back, in a way which is, I would say, in brevity, you know, in a healed way, where it's just like we can create all of this goodness, you guys. We can create all of that, and I don't even mean on the earth plane. I mean just like period, like on the other side, right? Excuse me. I just ate a lot. It was a great meal. Anyway, yeah, it's another thing. You know, I'll get that in another video. But just, just the grace of God, you guys. Just, for lack of a better word, where there is this divine, loving essence, and there are entities and individuals who are assisting us, and yeah, we're all one. That's why they're helping themselves, just like we are helping each other. You know, and like I said, it's going to sound like gobbledygook to people who are outside of it, but I'm not technically speaking to the people who are outside of it. It's really for verification for people who are on the path, I guess is the best way to say it. On the path, who are ready to go back home. And so, going back to my church friend, he had a severe complication, and had to go to the ICU, and it was on, I don't know the terms, but just like the breathing tubes and stuff. And he was in, and then he was out, and then he was in, and he was out again. And I finally got to see him, and it's just like he couldn't talk very well, but he recognized me. He could say my name and everything, and just being with him, I could see he was processing something just with me, and I can't verify it, so it's maybe just I'm looking at myself. So take everything with a grain of salt there, but knowing what some of the conversations that I've had with him, he was disappointed. He was disappointed that he was alive. Like, is the best way to say it. He didn't want to be alive anymore. But in just like so much of us, none of us want to be alive, you guys. None of us want to be here, but that's why we're here. Is the best way to put it. It's the best way to put it. On the positive side, of course, we want to go back to where we belong, where our home is, where manifestation is instant. But at the same time, if we're seeking to go there to escape this realm, then something's wrong. All right, and if we go to that realm from that energy, we're just gonna have a bad time, and we're gonna get reincarnated, I guess is the best way to put it, you guys. And that's on the good side, because technically you don't have to reincarnate, but being on the other side without the ability to have feedback like we can in this world, it's harder, guys. Like, we can speed up the process of healing in this earth plane, in this world, in this format, and this is why we're here. Like, and some of us, I like, it's like we're all in this together, I guess is the best way to put it. And so I really feel like some people volunteered to come down here, but here's the issue, and I like this. It's like a quarantine. So once you've crossed the quarantine, you've been inflicted with a similar sickness, I guess is the best way to put it. And so unless you heal that sickness, you can't go back. All right, nobody can go back until we heal the sickness, and it's this within without kind of a thing. And that's what I refer to as like divine God and everything, where it's just like, if do I want to go back to the other side? Absolutely, when it's appropriate, when it's ready, when it's my time. This is why I'm not afraid of death. This is what it means to be a Christian in this level. You know, they say Christians don't fear death because they've been saved, all right? But what does that mean? What does that mean, you guys? What does it mean to follow Jesus? What does it mean to have him be your savior? All right, this is what I think Christians need to ask. All right, and if they just point blank say, "Well, just Jesus is my savior," okay, that's meaningless. That's meaningless unless you create the meaning behind it, unless you understand the meaning behind it. And this is why I get into heated conversations sometimes on the side. I usually just hold my tongue for the most part, but like with people who just take it in what I would say a literal sense, where they don't really assign meaning to it. Jesus is this man who's also God, and then they're outside of me because I'm not God. And so people are stuck in this cycle, in this repetitive loop that never freaking ends, because they're creating this powerlessness for themselves, and then they're assigning the disparity. I can't do it because I'm holding the camera with one hand, but just like I did in the other videos, where this it's the disparity, where it's just like above and below God, and then that's gonna keep us locked into this cycle where it's like this ego kind of a thing, and I explained it better in the other videos too. I don't continue to do my best with it, but it's like being superior to other people because on the inside I feel inferior, and then making myself inferior because then I'm morally superior, and that's that's coming from a place of disease, you guys. It's coming from a place of sickness, all right, of illness, and this is why the world is the way that it is, and if anything, my premise, my posit here is that I would say any religion, but we're going to go with Christianity for right now. Um, and I would say especially Christianity because of it's my environment, because it's what I'm immersed in. But it's the meaning, all right? And that meaning is the same in any religion, but you have to see that the meaning is there. Like when you ask the right questions, if you just follow any religion, any practice without really understanding it, in my opinion, you're not going to get there. Nobody's going to get there because you're doing it in a way which is and maybe this is just my path to understand it. I get it. I have to do this, but I've seen this too. People who are just very devout, and they're good-hearted people, but they're devout to blasphemy. I guess is like the best way to put it, which might even seem like ironic for what I'm saying, because I know quite a few Christians would consider what I'm saying here to be blasphemous. To even look at the Nag Hammadi scriptures and would be blasphemous, which is crazy, you guys. Which is absolutely crazy. And so I guess we can just wrap it up, you guys. Just like I'm in my feels. I'm in my feels today. I'm just knowing that I do want to go home. I want to go real home, but I want to go home when it's time, and also on top of that too, it's just like I want all of us to go home, but we have to want it. We have to choose it. We have to choose that path. Like using that terminology, we have to choose to be saved. We have to choose to follow Jesus. We have to choose to do those things. And from the caveat that I have here is that you have to, what does it mean? You have to ask those questions and discern with your heart. What does it mean, all right, to be a follower of Jesus? What did Jesus mean? Like this is why looking at these scriptures, asking these questions is a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. All right, it's not blasphemy to question God, because guess what? God can stand. God will answer. All right, is the best way to put it. Right, seek and you shall find. So I'll probably just leave it there under 30 minutes. Right. So, I love you guys. Maybe a little bit over. I'm not gonna rush it, but I love you guys. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing this YouTube thing. I'm gonna do my best here. Like I said, raw and unedited. Um, we need to have these conversations. All right, we need to stop silencing ourselves. We need to stop censoring ourselves in a way. But like I say, right? There's only one absolute, and sometimes we should hold our tongue. Sometimes it's better to hold our tongue too, especially if we're coming from the programming. From Marina's definitions and everything, from the parasitical structures, man, from the parasitical programming, which keeps us locked in that, you guys. Like that's, and that it's what the man. And she just made a great video about it too. But it's like the parasitical systems and structures and things like the shame that I was just talking about, right? All right, why I don't I what I experienced was great loss. All right, just like what so many of us have experienced, like because we're all the same, right? In that way, we've all experienced that loss that I'm talking about. There's different levels of consciousness. There's different ways to interpret that loss. And so, like, that's what I mean going under the quarantine in this way, where it's just like we get afflicted with it, you know. And if I could say that, that's been a large part of my life, you guys. Just like, what did I get myself into? Why did I come down here? Holy crap. You know, arrogance, thinking I could do something, thinking I could help anybody. But I'm gonna try, and it's not even try, but it's just like I'm gonna be authentic. That's what I can do. I do genuinely want to help the world, myself, others, and it's not from a place of I need to prove it to myself, or it's an ego thing, where it's just like I genuinely care. We genuinely deserve to be free of this, all right? To be free of this shame, to be free of these parasitical structures, all right? We deserve it. We absolutely deserve it. And that's how we go to heaven. And that part of that is creating heaven here on earth, all right? Using the terminologies to be saved. But in order to be saved, we have to do the work. We have to carry the, what does it, bear the cross, man. And what does that mean? It means honoring the truth, all right? And the truth is that so much of the problems, we can't fix the problems outside of us, all right? We can only fix the problems inside of us. But when we unify that and we see that the outside and the inside are the same, then doing the internal work is fixing the external world, you guys. So we'll leave it at that, all right? I love you guys, man. I love you guys. I love making these videos. It's been hard. It's been hard this past few days. I've been processing a lot, Still, still homeless, still going through the stuff, but I got a room, and doing my best. I know I'm like out of left field when it comes to Christianity, but here I am, and that's what Jesus said in some of the Thomas scriptures as well. People don't go preach, in the hometown. You're going to be hated, and then that's the irony, guys. Is that I think a lot of what I'm saying would be hated by people who would consider themselves extremely devout Christians, which is so sad, you guys. Which is so sad for me. But it's their lives. This is the beauty of the one absolute too, where it's just like, yeah, we're all one, yeah, everything's like that. At the same time, we are individuals, all right? And this is why it's so important to claim individual responsibility as well. And that it's safety too, it's good, all right? It's just like a lot of, you could think of everybody's like thought forms running around, and in that case, be the thought form in yourself first, all right? And that there's going to be other thought forms that might try to convince you of things like a false sense of Christianity, and then what does that lead to, all right? And what are the fruits, right? By ye fruits you shall know them. What does this mean? Is the people who are espousing these things, are they people that you want to be like? What are their powers, so to speak? because the more that I feel like we go down this path, the more that our inherent powers like unlock. Because when we really understand the truth, we know how to interact with the world. All right, we know how to interact with the universe. We know how to interact with God. All right, because the separation becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. But there's aspects to this too. All right, and I'm seeing this as well. I know I keep looking down at the time. Time's going on and on. I always want to say more, you guys. I always want to say more. But I should get to bed. I really should get to bed, man. Woke up so early last night. I mean, yeah, it was last night. Technically, it was the morning. It was 2 a.m. But then, I had to start working 4 a.m. So I'm tired, you guys. At the same time, it's just like I'm sad. I'm still sad, you guys. It's just I'm just so sad sometimes. But I'm like happy at the same time because there's just it's ineffable. All right, I just lack the words at the moment. Okay, it's gone on long enough, right? I don't know if there could be closing thoughts with this. Just thank you for being part of my journey. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep doing this. I feel this, you guys, and I'll do my best to make these more coherent. But I just wanted to get an update out there at the very least. So, thank you. Love you. Part of my journey. I'm part of yours in some way, shape, or form. And that's just what I'm saying. We're doing this, you guys. We're doing this. All right. If you're watching my videos, even just a glimpse, and I mean this in a good way, but it's just like you're blessed and you're cursed now. Sorry, just like my friend. Like if I can tie this back into that, that's what my friend was seeing, with my presence, and I was trying to communicate to him too. Tying this back to what I was talking about earlier with my friend, where it's just like he wanted to die. I know that he wanted to die, and he was disappointed. He was disappointed that he was alive still, but there was some telepathic understanding, communication that I was having with him, and he started to, I think, almost freak out from the understanding. And it was like he was starting to see what I saw, where it's just like, we can't go back yet. We can't go back yet. You won't die. All right, like that's just it. You try to go early. You try to leave when it's not your time. And there's layers to this too, man. There's layers to this too, because people who are wanting death subconsciously, like that's why people get old. All right, that's why people start to have diseases. That's why these kind of things happen. There's caveats. This is what I mean, that there's only one absolute, but I'm just speaking generally here. But when people are performing actions which are not in alignment with their body temples, there's a reason for that. It's because they're seeking death. All right, they don't want to live. And then if the vehicle dies, if the body temple dies, we still go on. But then all of that venom, all of that self-hatred, all of that stuff goes with us. Okay, because it is us. We can't leave ourselves. So this is our chance and our opportunity to cleanse it. All right, this is our opportunity to forgive ourselves. This is our opportunity to let go of what we don't need to hold on to anymore. And it's a process. It's a process. That's why we're all here for each other too. Because yeah, we're all one. And yeah, we're all on our own. And both are a blessing. All right? Just like they can be a curse. That's a good place to end. All right. So please, I know it's a kind of a rant, but this was a little longer one, but it is what it is, you guys. If you like it, give me a like. If you want to hear more, subscribe. And I'll do everything I can to make daily videos. Just sometimes it's hard, you guys. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Just thank you for being here, you guys. Thank you. So, peace out. Love within. I'll catch you guys right on the flip side.